Hello, and welcome to my devlog for the Corgi Christmas Game Jam. The date is the 22nd of December 2016. This will act as more of an aftermath sort of review over what my feelings are of this project. So, the overview for this will be me just talking about my thoughts and feelings after having been through this whole process, the last changes that I have made, and what I will do, in fact, to improve upon this project over the course of possibly this week, if not into next. So, the project has been done with for a while. I admittedly haven't done a devlog for this in a while, purely because one, I was incredibly ill immediately after the submission time for the game, so that was a fun experience, and I admittedly didn't have internet access until today to be able to post the devlog up properly, so that's why it hasn't been a devlog in a while. And the second thing is, I wanted to kind of give myself a break and come back with more of a retrospective look on it, and understand where I was missing on some of the, I guess where the weak points in my game were, to be more specific. Because I admit this game was rushed near the end, and I'm not going to deny it in any way. I acknowledge the fact that it was very, very rushed and very messy. So, but it's been a good learning experience, so I can't say I haven't gained anything from it. In fact, I have gained something from it, because one of the YouTubers that has played through the game has said they are willing to try the game again once I have made various improvements to it. So, in some way, I've succeeded with this project, regardless of where I place within the ratings of the Game Jam as a whole. So, for the changes, I'm just going to go through the scripts I normally do. I'll show the visuals, quote-unquote, as weak as they are, when I actually get into playing the game. With the screen grabber here, this is just a temporary object that is purely for grabbing screenshots in rooms. This is just for the preview images, and this will purely be for testing purposes. Once I'm done with the final version of the improved game, I will be removing this out so that it won't exist within the game. Trying to think. UI, I've obviously added a lot. I had to add a lot of objects, admittedly, because I had to add one layer for the UI itself, and then one layer for the buttons on specific UI elements. Chances are I'll simplify this down to just making them actual buttons when it comes to redoing the UI, because I will have to redo the UI. The quit button, this was the same as before. It's just positioning itself in the viewport, and then when the left button is pressed, it sets the game condition back to 0, and then it restarts the game instead of just quitting out, because you quit out from the main menu instead now. Master UI, I believe it's just, oh yeah, that's right, initializing the UI, that's something I will look into. Or actually show you, I mean, rather. Little rankings, this hasn't changed any, it's just set the game condition. Sound effects are in the game now. Again, I'll show you those, but chances are those will be too loud for the demonstration purposes, so I might show them in a later vlog where I properly demonstrate them once they're all equalized and not gonna blast your ears out. And if the menu UI doesn't exist, then it will initialize it through another script. I'll quickly go through the new scripts now, because I did just kind of skip over those a moment. Initialize, this just brings up the post-it note UI elements. Again, those will be redone properly once I get to reworking the game's graphics. And UI states, this is just simply creating a this is again using arguments to choose which states it's in, and the UI is created, and then depending on which state you give it, it will choose the state that it boots up into. These are just purely determining their score. Well, this is the header for it. This just puts it in position, and then the score, determining the end step. The image index is relative to the score that it's representing. The menus. This just determines. This just tells it to not flash through all of the different images, and when it's created, it'll create the screen grabber object, and in the end step, its image index. It basically determines which image index it is in, and creates the correct menu loadouts that it requires for each of those, and also creates the buttons that you need to restart the game and go back to the menu and all that. Score menu, this is pretty much the same as the ranking scores. The image index is relative to scores. The buttons, these just have a left button event that either restart the room or go back to the main menu. The controls, this is just a button that's on the main menu that creates a menu that you just quit out of. So it's a menu in itself, but it's just purely a menu that displays the controls, and that's all it does. In terms of the AI, I've had to fiddle around a lot, and I've simply I've pretty much just simplified what I was intending to do with it. This just basically sets the losing state through a collision. The being suspicious thing, it was incredibly simplified just to avoid running out of time trying to perfect it the way I wanted to perfect it. Chances are I'm going to overhaul this a lot more and actually give it a lot more, I want to say depth, but I guess it wouldn't necessarily be depth to a degree. It would be more, instead of them becoming a guard and chasing you around, they'd actually call in a guard at some point. So I'll have to have a look at this in more detail and see where I can fix this up, but this will change a lot more, and I'll actually have guards NPCs instead of just assigning the workers to the guard's role. Guard controller, I believe. Yeah, this is where the allocation of the guard stuff happens. So at the moment it's random, and again, I'm probably going to overhaul the system entirely, because as alright as it is for the purpose of what I was trying to do with it, admittedly it kind of makes it unclear as to which guard is actually or who's actually going to chase you, so it can be limiting in what it can do. So I'm going to eventually overhaul this a lot more and get guards coming in properly. I don't know if... in terms of the objects, they're all basically separate stuff. They had to have separate step values because I believe there was going to be something different in them, but I unfortunately can't remember what at the moment. I think it might have been there might have been something in here. Oh, that's right. I was going to try randomly generating the objects, but for some reason it only generated one of the objects and not all of them. So I'll have to look into this again and see where I can actually adjust this. It might have to be in its own separate object where it determines which object has been generated, which hasn't. So I'm gonna look into this again at some point and see if I can get to randomly generate all the objects that are breakable around the areas and have that change respectively. And that was to delete the wreckable object when it was generated, but obviously that didn't quite work out as I wanted just yet, so I'm going to be looking into that. I don't remember too much of what has changed from previous versions, but I'll be able to explain everything in detail. This is the, if I turn the grid off for now, this is the room that I was going for. Admittedly, the tile set isn't fitting of what I wanted it to be represented of. I'm going to be doing a lot more background research into what I want the area to look like. It was intended to look like a... the original plan was for it to be a crime lab, but because of a lot of time restrictions, I didn't actually pay proper attention to what it should look like. So admittedly, the tile set is not representative of what it should have been in the final game, but you know, I should have taken more time on the graphics, really, if I'm honest, because the graphics were rushed out a lot. But you know, I've got some time now to fix it all up. Stuff like the shadows, I think I would need to, or well, adjusting the wall tile set in general is something I will need to put more time into, ideally. So that is the main room. The tile room, just basically the exact size I need it to be for the screen. Basically all the menus use this same sort of I guess border layout or backdrop. Backdrop would be more appropriate, I think. But yeah, a lot needs to be adjusted to this, especially the handwriting, because I admit I thought handwriting would make it look a little bit more authentic, but to be honest, my handwriting isn't that neat, so I'm probably just going to replace that with a font that actually gives off that idea rather than my own handwriting, which is sometimes very hard to read, I'm not going to lie. Test room is still there, but I haven't done anything to that since, so I'll just jump right into the game and show what I've got so far of that, so I can demonstrate it. For the purposes of this, I am going to turn off the sound just because it is loud and I need to fix the sounds. In a later video, I might demonstrate the sounds again, but right now I'd rather not blast your ears out with it, because a lot of it needs tweaking, and I couldn't do that at the time because I was just rushing to get all the sounds that I wanted together before the deadline. So in a later video I will demonstrate it, but for now, for the purposes of just showing off what I have and what is available, I'll demonstrate as is, muted. So I bumped up the resolution. It was at 960 by, I believe, it was 5... I don't remember the exact resolution of the height, but I've just bumped up to basically double what the intended resolution was going to be. So with the menu, you've got controls. It's hard to read, I apologise. You've got move, look, run, sneak, and wreck. Got the objectives here. I'm gonna go more in depth with this and actually demonstrate it with the objects in view, so you can understand exactly what each one of them does and how to go about playing the game properly. Quit just quits out the game. Don't need to demonstrate that. So if I hit start, this is how the game starts. This is your work area. The work area is considered a safe area where you can just dash into if you don't want to get caught by the guards. I did this as a temporary measure. This might change. The green outline is to make it easier to see your character, because admittedly at some points it does blend in. If you click and hold on an object, as I demonstrated before in one of the other videos, I'm pretty sure, it does destroy the object and the images do change. I admit that I've got it the wrong way around, whereby the alarm deals damage, but really it should be dealt on click, because otherwise there's a delay in actually breaking the object. Click and hold on here, it does some of the work quota. You don't want to do all that immediately, because obviously that is what is considered the end goal of the game. If I break a couple more objects, when it gets above 3, that's when somebody gets allocated as a guard. So I'll just destroy 3 objects and see. Are either one of you the guards? No? You? Yeah, for some reason they don't turn around. Oh, I got caught. Okay. So yeah, this is just simply the losing screen. Again, hard to write. I terribly apologize, but the idea was just to have the ranking here and have a little bit of a quip, making dog puns. It was part of my friend's idea, but I admit I did kind of like it. You get F if you don't actually win. So for the purposes of demonstration, I'll just show you the differences between the win screen and the lose screen. Not much, but there are subtle differences. Like the score does increase and you get a different rank depending on how much you manage to destroy in relation to how much of the work, well, in relation to the work you've done. So I'll try and see if I can get to change scores. I might not be able to do it just because, well, I say might not be able to, but I can give it a good try. So if I destroy these are the weakest objects, so they don't take that long at all. The surface are the middle-ish objects, so they don't take as long to destroy. Ooh, I appear to have got myself caught on the wall. I don't know how that happened. Okay. If I don't manage to demonstrate it within the next few goes, I'll just stop, because I don't want this necessarily to go on for too long and me just faffing around trying to complete the game that I've made and I can't actually do it. But I'll give it a good go at least so I can demonstrate it. Oh, you are. Sorry, I'm just trying to see if I can get the rank to change. So yeah, the rank's changed there, so if I complete the game now, the rank and the quotes do change depending on how well you do. Other than that, there's not much to demonstrate. This is a relatively short game just because it just did it in one room, and that's as much as I intended to make from it. But if there was anything I didn't, well, anything, I'm saying if there is anything, there are plenty of things that I would improve. For example, I'd say make this actually look like a crime lab, because admittedly this does not look like a crime lab at all. If anything, it looks like a mix between a blooming pyramid and an office, and it's just that one room that looks completely different. It looks like a kitchen. So I'm gonna do a bit more studies into that and actually get that looking more like a proper crime lab. Change how the AI works, because admittedly it doesn't quite work the way that I want it to. I think definitely having guards come in when one of the when one of the workers notices broken objects is a better way to go than the way I have approached this, because it is hard to tell who is suspicious of you and hard to tell when you could be caught. So I'm considering that approach instead, because that way it means it's a lot easier to tell when you could be at risk of getting caught. Change the alarms on these and change it so that you actually have to when you click on it, it actually deals damage instead of waiting on the alarm to do it, because admittedly that does not help either way. Yeah, just various improvements to the graphics of it and the quality of them. I'm debating about bumping up the textures. I don't know whether I will yet, but if I do, then chances are I might have to make a lot more changes to be able to make that work properly with the game then. It's probably not too difficult, and yeah, I've forgotten the walls on here. I don't know why I've forgotten the walls there. Fix the walls, that's another one I've got to fix. But yeah, I think a lot more love needs to go into this game. With one of the reviews, there was a lot that they did pick up on, and a lot of that the fixes I need to do came from that. But they did say that if I could polish this game up, then it would probably turn out to be decent enough. So I am going to be spending at least a good week on this now, tweaking the game, and I might not necessarily make more than one room. I don't know if I will plan on doing that just yet or not, but if I do expand this into a further game, chances are I'll have varying levels of difficulty then at that point, and have it so that have the first level have less objects that you destroy, and less workers and guards. Maybe have different areas involved as well. I don't know yet. At the moment, I'm honestly considering just leaving this as a one-room thing, but again, I might not. I might expand this a little bit further, maybe just have 4 levels, just have this be a short game in that respect. But yeah, that's all the current adjustments that I can currently think of. I'd like to thank you if you have been watching these, and hopefully I am going to be taking part in more game jams in the future. I currently have one more in mind that I'm going to be taking part in from January 1st to January 9th. Well, it might more specifically be January 1st and January 8th, but I'm hoping that that game jam can go a little bit better because of more time allocated to me to be able to make a more polished game out of it. So again, thanks for watching, and hope to be making more games soon, and better quality ones.